Dear students, in the previous class we saw what is gynocriticism and how Ellen Showalter has classified the female literary tradition into three phases. Now let's see different forms of feminism. The different forms of feminism have been devised to achieve the ultimate goals of feminism. Let's see different forms of feminism. Feminism is not a single ideology, it has many forms, dimensions to achieve its goals. Here I have listed a few forms of feminism for your understanding: liberal feminism, radical feminism, Marxist feminism, socialist feminism, cultural feminism, ecofeminism, lesbian feminism, and so on. Let's see the forms of feminism one by one. Liberal feminism. It's an individualistic form of feminist theory, focuses on women's ability to maintain their equality through their actions and choices. It is an individualistic form of feminist theory. Means it is a distinctive form of feminist theory, or it is a unique form of feminist theory. And liberal feminists believe that women have all rights to enjoy their equality through their action and choices. For example, the needs of women have to be decided by her with no interference of men. Let's see the next point. And liberal feminists believe that society holds false belief that women are by nature less intellectual and physically incapable than men. That is, liberal feminists argue that society holds many false opinions that women are less intellectual and they are physically incapable. They are physically weak when compared to men. By holding such false beliefs, they ignore women from certain discipline, or they ignore women from certain field. Let's move on to the last point. Thus, they are discriminated in the academy. That's why women are ignored from the academy, the forum, and marketplace. They strive for sexual equality via political and legal reform. And liberal feminists strive hard for sexual equality by insisting on political and legal reformation. So, only by proper political and legal reformation, women could achieve their sexual equality. I hope you understood this form of feminism. Let's move on to radical feminism. Radical feminism considers patriarchy to be the root cause for the most serious social problems, and this form of feminism was popular in the so-called second wave feminism. That is, radical feminism feminism believes that patriarchy to be the patriarchal system is a root cause for many numbers of social issues and problems faced by women. And as we all know that this form of feminism was popular during the second wave feminism. Let's move on to next point. Radical feminists seek to abolish the patriarchy in order to liberate everyone from an unjust society by challenging existing social norms. That is, radical feminists want to abolish the patriarchal culture. They wanted to abolish the patriarchal system in order to liberate every woman from the prevailing biased culture. We move on to next point. Radical feminists believe in an autonomous women's movement as the path to women's liberation, and they believe in autonomous women's movement. Autonomous women's movement means self-governing system. That is, every decision should be taken by women without any male influence, without any interference of male members. Next point. Kate Millet's The Personal is Political is notable literary work of radical feminism, and the radical feminists stress that women are both different from and superior to men. Radical feminists strongly believe and they stress that women are different from men and they are superior to men. They are both different and superior to men. Let's see what is Marxist feminism. Marxist feminism is a philosophical variant of feminism that incorporates Marxist theory. It means Marxist feminism is rationally and critically different from other forms of feminism as it is well associated and blended with Marxist theory. It analyzes the ways how women are exploited through capitalism, and moreover they have a belief that women are exploited through capitalism. So Marxist feminists wanted to dismantle the capital system in order to achieve women's liberation. They also believe that main cause for the oppression of women was their economic dependence in the family. So according to Marxist feminism, the main root cause for all kinds of oppression imposed upon women is due to their economic dependency in the family. So women should gain economic independence, that is, women should take part in the economic production process in order to liberate themselves from all kind of oppression, from all kind of suppression. Let's move on to socialist feminism. Socialist feminism was highly regarded in the 1960s and 1970s as an offshoot of the feminist movement. It focuses on the interconnectivity of the patriarchy and capitalism. Socialist feminism was popular in the 1960s and 1970s, and it is said to be the branch of feminist movement. And this form of feminism focuses on the interconnection between the patriarchy and capitalism, that is, connectivity between the patriarchy and capitalism, because socialist feminism has drawn or it has extracted many concepts found in Marxism exclusively from the historical and materialistic point of view. Socialist feminists reject radical feminism's main claim that patriarchy is a primary source of women's oppression. That is, socialist feminism denies or it rejects the accusation made by the radical feminism that patriarchy is the sole reason for all kind of oppression imposed upon women. And socialist feminism, a strategy for women's movement, is said to be the first work to use the term socialist feminism. Let's see what is cultural feminism in this slide. Cultural feminism refers to a philosophy that men and women have different approaches to the world around them, and the greater value should be placed on the way women approach the world. It refers to the idea, that is, cultural feminism refers to an idea that men and women have different approaches. In a better way, we can say the way men look at the world is different from the way women look at the world. And moreover, the outlook of women has greater value. And to make it very clear, the great value should be placed on the approach of the women to every happening or every occurrence that happen in the world. Move on to next point. This perspective aims to unite all women regardless of ethnicity, race, class and age. Cultural feminism aims to unite all women without any differences among women belong to different caste, age, race and ethnicity. And it is said to be the branch of feminism that has been evolved from the ideas of radical feminism. Let's see what exactly is ecofeminism. It is a branch of feminism that sees environmentalism and the relationship between women and the earth. Just like other forms of feminism, ecofeminism is also a branch of feminism, and it focuses on the study of environment as well as the relationship or the connection between women and the earth. Women are often compared to earth for their ultimate patience and for nurturing and preserving the life on the earth by withstanding all kinds of exploitation. I hope you understand the line. We move on to the next line. Ecofeminist thinkers extract the concept of gender to analyze the relationship between human and the natural world. Ecofeminist, they have extract the concept of gender in order to analyze the relationship or the connectivity between human and the natural world. And ecofeminism, it is said to be a movement that sees a connection between the exploitation and degradation of natural world as well as the subordination and oppression of women. That is, the main motto of ecofeminism is to bring out how natural world is exploited and destroyed. Similarly, how women are exploited in the male-centered society. And this form of feminism was emerged in the mid 1970s along with the second wave feminism and the green movement. Let's move on to the last form of feminism, lesbian feminism. It is a cultural movement and it was influential in the 1970s and early 1980s. It encourages women to focus their efforts and attentions, relationships and activities towards their fellow women rather than men. Let me explain these 2 points. Lesbian feminism is a cultural movement and it was popular in the 1970s and early 1980s. And this form of feminism engages and motivates women to focus their attention towards their fellow women instead of the opposite sex, that is male. And women have to develop and women have to strengthen their relationship with women rather than men. Next point. Lesbian feminism owes greatly to the thoughts of Adrienne Rich, who argued that compulsory heterosexuality ensured women's continuous subjugation. This feminism is devoted greatly to Adrienne Rich, who insisted that compulsory heterosexuality is the main cause for continuous subjugation of women. What do you mean by heterosexuality? Heterosexuality means a sexual relationship between two opposite sexes, and this form of culture is said to be the main cause for a continuous subjugation of women. Next point. She points out that such an ideology forces a girl or a daughter to turn to a man by forgetting their mother and other women. She states that this kind of ideology forces a girl or a woman or a daughter to forget her fellow women and turn to a man at one point of stage in her life, especially in the form of marriage. Lesbian theorists argue that feminism assumes heterosexuality as the norm and homosexuality, that is, lesbianism, as a deviant. Lesbians argue that feminism considers heterosexuality as a moral culture, heterosexuality as a norm, and it is a moral pattern of living, whereas the homosexuality is considered as an immoral act as it deviates from the moral pattern of living. Next point. The new phase of radical lesbian feminism was launched with the publication of The Women Identified Women, which was published in 1971. They argued that lesbian is a natural and it inclined to other women rather than men, as quite common. The new phase of lesbian feminism, that is radical lesbian feminism, was launched with the publication of the work The Women Identified Women by rejecting the essential norms as well as the doctrines of feminism and emerged into a new form of feminism called lesbian feminism. And lesbians proudly state that lesbianism is quite natural, as the lesbians incline to the other women rather than men. As well, they proudly states that they are real feminists than the so-called feminists who still believe in heterosexuality. I hope you understood the feminism.